It's 11:14 p.m. and imagine you're sitting on the couch, your day is finally over and you've earned it. The show's good, the snacks are within an arm's reach, and your brain has finally stopped buzzing about work. And then your phone lights up. Bzzz, that little Outlook chime, an email from a coworker, maybe your boss, and your stomach does this tiny involuntary flip because now you have to decide. Is this urgent? Do I open it? Does ignoring it make me look like I'm not a team player? Did the building catch on fire, or did Greg just really want everyone to know that he's still grinding? Spoiler alert, it's Greg. It's always Greg. The building's fine. Greg just wanted you to know. So today we're talking about the midnight emailer, the after hours pinger, the person who texts you on your day off. And here's the twist that makes this fun. I'm not just going to rant about why these people drive me up the wall. I'm going to show you that psychologists have actually studied this on both ends of the wire. And the science is brutally on the side of log off, Greg. Let's get into it. Let me start with my actual theory because I've had it for years. I think a huge chunk of after hours emailing is, at its core, insecurity. It's people who deep down aren't totally sure of the value they're creating. So they compensate with visible effort. They can't always point to a brilliant insight or a unique skill. So instead, they point to the clock. Look how late I'm working. Look how dedicated I am. I'm the real company person here. And here's the thing every seasoned business person will tell you. Nobody serious cares about your effort. They care about your results. If you're a genius in your field and you only need 10 minutes a day to weigh in and make the company money, congratulations, you're indispensable. That's the word, indispensable. Because labor is dispensable. Anyone can grind 15 hours a day. Anyone. That's not rare. What's rare is unique skill, unique insight, unique authority. You can't fake that by sending an email at midnight. These are also, and I say this with a little bit of love, the same people who give you the side eye when you skip drinks after work. You ever notice that? You're grabbing a quick bite at muchos tacos with the team, and there's that one person whose face says, "Oh, must be nice. Some of us are pouring ourselves into this company." Like you leaving at a reasonable hour is a moral failing, like you betrayed the cause by wanting a taco and a life. That's my read of it, but I'm just a guy with opinions, so let's bring on the people with the PhDs because they went and measured it. Oh, and it's good. First concept, and once you learn this, you'll see it everywhere. It's called telepressure. Researchers at San Diego State, Northern Illinois coined it, and telepressure is the urge to respond quickly to work messages. That internal compulsion to maintain a constant connection to work. It's that flip your stomach does at 11:14 p.m., and it's not harmless. Telepressure has been linked to burnout, worse sleep quality, disrupted work-life balance, and less psychological detachment, meaning you literally can't stop thinking about work even when you're off. Now, sit with that for a second, because when you fire off a no rush email at 11 p.m., the no rush is a lie your own nervous system doesn't believe. The recipient's brain can't unsee the ping. You handed them a problem to hold on to all night and then had the nerve to slap a no rush on that like a little bow. And here's the study that genuinely changed how I think about this. It's a Virginia Tech paper with the greatest academic title of all time. It's called Killing Me Softly. I'm not kidding. And what they found is the kicker. It's not the time spent on after hours email that wrecks people. It's the mere expectation of having to monitor email after hours. That alone produces anxiety that harms the health and well-being of your employees. You don't even have to open it. The anticipation does the damage. Just knowing that a ping might come is enough to keep someone's guard up all evening. And then it gets wild. They studied actual couples, and the after-hours email anxiety didn't just hurt the employee. It spilled over and damaged the health and relationship satisfaction of their spouses and partners too. Let that land. Your 11 p.m. quit question doesn't just stress out your coworker. It reaches across the couch and stresses out the person that's sitting next to them. You're not emailing one person anymore. You're emailing their marriage. Greg, you're an absolute menace. And before anyone says, well, this is rare, it is not. The American Psychological Association found that about half of all workers use work-related communication outside of work hours daily, including weekends and on vacation and while out on sick time. Half. This is the water we're all swimming in. Okay, So who sends these things and why? Because this is where the science actually backs up my insecurity theory with the receipts. When researchers looked at the personality traits behind compulsive after-hours connectivity, the usual suspects showed up: workaholism, anxiety, low self-control, and here's my personal favorite, fear of missing out, FOMO. The midnight emailer is, in a real psychological sense, often a person managing their own anxiety by staying plugged in. It's not strength. It's a coping mechanism wearing a blazer. But, and I have to be fair here because this is the part that complicates my own rant, there's a deeply annoying twist. Sometimes the flex actually works. There's research on what's called the ideal worker bias. And when evaluators judged employees with identical performance, they rewarded the overworkers and viewed them more favorably than the people who got the same results more efficiently. Now, I'm not saying people can't be committed to their job, but I'm saying that using that as a metric for who should be promoted is something that I refer to as failing upward. So, the midnight emailer isn't crazy. In a lot of dysfunctional workplaces, performing visible overwork genuinely gets you ahead, even though it shouldn't. Even when the efficient person next to you did the same job in half the time and went home to their family, which to me doesn't make the behavior smart, it makes it evidence that the system is broken. We're literally rewarding theater over results. The whole point of being indispensable is the output, but we keep handing the trophy to whoever stayed latest. That is absolutely backwards. Now, I'll give you one honest exception because I'm not a monster. Sometimes a leader fires off an after-hours message simply to mentally offload a task. It's habit, not malice. The director who's half watching TV and crushes out a one-line reply so it's off their plate, fine. That's just being a human being, not necessarily a power move. I'm not coming for the occasional one-off late emails. I'm coming for the pattern, the person doing this multiple times a week, every week, the person that only seems to do it when you're on PTO, the person that's only doing it when you're at a conference. That's not a habit. That's a billboard. Now let's talk about the version that keeps me up at night, when it's a manager doing it to their direct reports, because here the power dynamics change everything. There's a 2025 study with another great title, Always Online, about leaders and after-hours messaging. And the finding is exactly what your gut tells you. When leaders use their phones for work after hours, it sends a behavioral signal that shapes the whole organization's norms. It creates what they call a climate of constant connectivity. The boss doesn't even have to say, be available. The 11 p.m. is already saying that. And here's why it's so much worse when it's pointed down the org chart. Employees feel obligated to stay available. And even when they want to defy that unspoken norm, they fear the consequences, like a damaged relationship with the boss or a worse performance review. A peer's midnight email is annoying. A boss's midnight email is a quiet command, whether the boss means it that way or not. The higher up you are, the louder your little ping echoes. Your no pressure response in the email weighs about 400 pounds when it comes from a person who signs off on raises. Which brings me to the absolute bottom of the barrel. The manager who skips the email entirely and texts you on your PTO, on your day off, when you're going to be back in the office in 12 hours anyway. There is almost never a reason for that. It is a power move. Someone flexing urgency in a situation that has none, reaching into your vacation to remind you that you're never really off. That's insecurity at its rawest and most extreme form. Now, I want to be fair because there is a right way to reach someone on their days off, and I lived it. I was on a beach once, on PTO, actually traveling, and I got a text from a boss. And for a second, my heart sank because it was just him checking that I was okay, that there had been some trouble at the office, and he wanted to make sure I was safe. And I said, yep, all good. And he said, great, enjoy your trip. We've got it handled. That was it. He didn't drop some cryptic, well, we'll talk more when you get back in the office, some sort of like verbal bomb to ruin my week. He didn't make me worry about it. I found out the whole story when I returned. I got briefed, and it turned out there was genuinely nothing I could have done from the beach anyway. That's the move. That's a leader with actual emotional intelligence. He interrupted me to protect me, and then he protected my time too. That is a totally fetch boss behavior. It's rare, but it does exist. So what's the fix? It's almost insultingly simple, and it's been sitting in your email app this whole time. It's the schedule send button. Gmail's got it, Outlook's got it. Almost all email clients have it now. You write the email at midnight because that's when your brain is firing it off. Great, go for it. And then you take 5 seconds to schedule it for 6:30 a.m. Done. The thought is out of your head and nobody's couch gets invaded. But Pete, what if they come in at 7 a.m. and I sent it for 8? Well, then set it for 6:30. What if there's still an early bird and they come in at 6 a.m.? Set it for whatever you want. The point is, don't send it right now, not when they're trying to live their life. And this isn't just me being precious about it. This is literally what occupational researchers recommend, that managers send work email during business hours only, or delayed delivery if it's drafted after hours. The scientists and I are holding hands on this one. Now, there is something worse than not using schedule send. It is using it in the reverse, writing the email at 4 in the afternoon and scheduling it to land at 11 p.m. so people think you're burning the midnight oil. It's manufacturing fake dedication. And if you've ever done that and you know who you are, that's not a flex, that's performative art, and the reviews are not good. That is the purest distillation of everything I'm talking about. Choosing the appearance of value over actually being considerate, which is in itself a form of value that you just threw away. And if you're wondering if your boss suffers from this, the absolute confirmation of this is when they tell you or remind the team of how little time they take off. Or even worse, when they brag about how they took time off, but spent the whole time working anyway. Because that's not just a casual observation or a quick share. It's a subtle reminder to the whole team that the real dedicated people, the ones who will get promoted, the ones who will get seen, the ones who won't be coached out the door, are the ones who will trade everything in their lives for the good of the company. The ones who put the company before their own needs. This entire circle of a charade, it's misery loves company. It's the antithesis of every modern EQ initiative. So when it reaches this level of martyrdom, just remember, it's a sign of insecurity, jealousy, and it's a complete lack of emotional intelligence. And here's the eye-opener I'll leave you with. The thing that tells you why this isn't just my pet peeve. It's that entire countries have made my pet peeve illegal. It's called the right to disconnect. France passed the first one in 2017, requiring companies to negotiate rules about after-hours contact. Australia rolled out its own in 2024, letting workers legally ignore unreasonable out-of-hours contact from their bosses. Belgium, Spain, Italy, Ireland, Portugal, and Colombia have versions too. In Portugal, companies can actually be fined for texting or emailing staff outside of their contracted hours. Imagine that. Imagine a world where Greg gets fined for that. And Germany didn't even wait for a law. Volkswagen said its email services stopped pushing messages to employees' phones between 6 p.m. and 7 a.m. And back in 2013, the German government banned its own managers from contacting staff after hours, specifically to protect their mental health. So the next time someone treats their midnight email like a badge of honor, like it makes them the hardest worker in the room, just remember, half the developed world looked at that exact behavior and said, yeah, we should probably outlaw that because it's so toxic. Results, not theater. Skill, not stamina. And for the love of all that is holy, schedule your emails if you're working late. I'm out. Go enjoy your evening. I mean it. Don't check your inbox. See you later.